Good afternoon. We're back. I know the last content's been riveting. We've got a double camera situation going on today. Hello. You can see the desk. A little bit of side profile. Do I have a bald spot? Oh my god. I think that's just from the headphones, guys. Chill out, okay? Don't make fun of my bald spot. I'm not bald. I'm going to Turkey to get a hair transplant, so don't worry about it. But today, okay, we've got... This is a little old now. I'm falling behind because I've had to do a few things. I've had to type up an incident report. I was recently assaulted. So, dealing with that. So today we have Donald Trump. Well, not today, yesterday. Taking questions from reporters on Iran at the Kennedy Center board members. I don't know what any of that means. I don't know what the Kennedy Center is. Don't know what the board members are. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Ha 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 ha. Anyways, let's go ahead and begin. As usual, I will be playing at a faster speed because this stuff kind of bores the hell out of me, honestly. But, I do also feel it's important to be kept apprised of current events, and if I can do my part to sort of disseminate current events to those who would otherwise say this shit's boring, I'd like to do that, because I feel like that is a bit of my skill set. I'm good at sort of, I would say, boiling things down to a digestible meal, At any rate, let's go ahead and get started. Hope you're having a great day. Ugh.
Please, Susie.
The volume's a little wonky at the start, but we'll see.
No place like the White House. Do we agree?
Ah,
Right, Mr. Kraft?
I'm
No
Bill
place like the
Wadley.
White House. Thank you very much for being here. Appreciate it. And
Appreciate
we'll maybe
you.
discuss a couple of general topics. This is a board meeting for the Trump Kennedy Center, but we'll go into a couple of other things that we have the media present. It's always present.
What is the Trump Kennedy
Unfortunately.
Center? I don't know.
Constantly.
Board meeting.
And I'll say a few words about what's happening in the Middle East. And if you have a couple of questions, we'll do that, and then we'll get on with our board meeting. So thank you very much for being here. We have a wonderful group of very, very smart, talented patriots at this table.
We'll get through the glazing
Our
fest.
powerful military campaign to end the threats posed by the Iranian regime continued in full force over the past few days. They have been literally
Let me scoot in a bit.
obliterated. The Air Force is gone. The Navy is gone. Many, many ships have been sunk. They're warfighting ships, but I guess they didn't know how to use them. And
Then how is the Strait of Hormuz still closed if they have no military assets? That's the question I keep coming to.
anti-aircraft is decimated. Their radar is gone, and their leaders are gone. Other than that, they're doing quite well. They've been a terror.
Loves that joke. Loves that joke of yeah, they got their head blown up. We set them on fire. We threw them in a garbage can. Other than that, they're killing it though. It's like list a bunch of shit they've been destroyed and then be like, yeah, but they're fine.
47 years, and now I guess the world, through the United States, with the help of Israel, is doing what should have been done many years ago. Should have been done many years ago. Since the beginning of the
Cameraman
conflict, we've
just
struck
did a
more than
weird zoom on
7,000
her.
targets across Iran, and these have been mostly commercial and military targets. We've achieved a 90% reduction in their ballistic missile launches and a 95% reduction in drone attacks. The missiles are trickling in now at very low levels because
They're trickling.
they don't have too many missiles left. We've also attacked
buddy.
the manufacturing plants, the places where they manufacture the missiles and the drones, and that's going on today. We just hit 3 of them today.
Wow.
It's getting very hard for them to manufacture. More than 100 Iranian naval vessels have been sunk or destroyed over the last week and a half. That has to be some kind of a record. Additional strikes continue to launch from all directions every single hour.
Who keeps a record of this stuff?
As you know, we attacked Carg Island and knocked it literally, destroyed everything on the island except for the area where the oil is. I call it the pipes. We left the pipes.
The pipes. We left the pipes.
We will do that. We can do that on 5 minutes notice, it'll be over.
Absolutely,
But for
dude. Nuke
purposes
it,
of
whatever. Who cares?
someday rebuilding that country, I guess we did the right thing. But it may not stay that way. Just
Probably
one simple
not.
word, and the pipes will be gone too. But it'll take a long time to rebuild that. We are aggressively dismantling Iran's defense industrial base, and ability to rebuild its missiles and drone capability is getting down to close to zero. And we're hammering their capacity to threaten commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz, with more than 30 mine-laying ships destroyed. We hit, to the best of our knowledge, all of their mine-laying ships. Now they can put them on other types of ships, I guess, and drop them in. But we don't know that any have even been dropped in. We're not sure that any have been. That's a big negative for them if they do it. It's a form of
negative.
suicide. But we don't know that they have dropped any in. But we've hit all 30 of their ships and destroyed them. They're all at the bottom of the sea. We strongly encourage other
Bottom
nations
of the
whose
sea.
economies depend on the Strait far more than
His
ours.
absolute
We get less.
favorite. You keep hearing this. The bottom of the sea. You know, everything keeps getting sent to the bottom of the sea. Isn't that where Atlantis is located? Just a thought. Just a thought. Yeah, just a thought. Yeah, adjust that a bit there. It's looking a little wonky. Okay, there we go. Moving on. Bottom of the sea, though. From now on, count how many times you hear bottom of the sea.
Less than 1% of our oil from the Strait. And some countries get much more. Japan gets 95%. China gets 90%. Many of the Europeans get quite a bit. South Korea gets 35%. So we want them to come and help us with the Strait. We have it in very good shape. The countries, I said, we've already taken care of Iran, but now, because of the fact that literally a single terrorist can put something in the water or shoot something or shoot a missile, a small missile, and it's fairly close range because it is a tight area, and which is one of the reasons they've always used that as a weapon. Iran has always used that as an economic weapon, and it's not going to be able to be used very long. Numerous countries have told me they're on the way. Some are very enthusiastic about it, and some are. And some are countries that we've helped for many, many years. We've protected them from horrible outside sources, and they weren't that enthusiastic.
Oh.
And the level of enthusiasm matters to me. We have some countries where we have.
You should be very enthused to send your people off to war. That's all I know. Who's ready to go fight in the desert? Let's fucking go! LFG Desert War. Can we get it?
45,000 soldiers, great soldiers, protecting them from
Great
harm's
guys.
way. And we have done a great job. And when we want to know, do you have any minesweepers? Well, would rather not get involved, sir. I said, you mean for 40 years we're protecting you and you don't want to get involved in something that is very minor? Very few shots going to be taken because
Sounds like quid pro quo to me.
they don't have many shots left. But they said, we'd rather not get involved. I just want the fake news media and everybody else to remember that that was said because when I've been a big critic of all of the protecting of countries because I know that we'll protect them. And if we ever needed help, they won't be there for us. I've just known that for a long period of time. Just like I knew about the Strait, that it would be a weapon, which I predicted a long time ago. Predicted all of this stuff. You guys were very generous in that. I predicted all of it. I predicted Osama bin Laden would knock out the World Trade Center. I made that prediction a year before he did. I said, you better get him. He's a bad guy. I watched him be interviewed one time, and I said, that's a bad guy. You better get him. 1 year before, exactly. I wrote it in a book. You can even check about a year before the World Trade Center came down.
Nostradamus J.
President Clinton
Trump.
actually had a shot at him, and he didn't take it.
Predicting
Unfortunately, I'm not
the
blaming
end
him for that, but he
times.
didn't take it. And he ended up knocking down the World Trade Center, but I
Knocking
predicted
him
that.
down.
I predicted a lot of things. We strongly
Did he?
encourage other nations whose economies depend on the Strait for blood. I mean, these people literally need it. 95% of their energy or their oil comes out of the Strait, and they should be in here very happily helping us. And it's incredible. We have such great. We're number one in oil by double now. We drill, baby, drill. We're double any other nation, and it's going to be soon
Drill,
triple
baby,
any other nation.
drill.
And that doesn't include Venezuela, who's been great. By the way, the relationship with Venezuela has been fantastic. Millions, literally millions of barrels of oil are being taken out, and it's been a great help, and it's been to their great benefit. The president has done a really good job. We get along with him really well. But we've taken out millions of barrels of oil and brought to Houston and other places to the refineries. We have refineries set up specifically for that, and it's been a great relationship. And more and more is happening. It's a tremendous oil source, and we're stepping it up very rapidly. The big companies are going in, and they will actually, numbers in a pretty short period of time, numbers that they've never been able to do, we'll be doing. There's a lot of oil under that land. We strongly encourage the other nations to get involved with us and get involved quickly and with great enthusiasm. I have that from a number of them, and I'd like to say their names, but frankly, I don't know if they would want me to or not, because maybe they don't want to be targeted. But I say, wouldn't matter if you're targeted or not, because this is a paper tiger that we're dealing with now. It wasn't a paper tiger 2 weeks ago. It's a paper tiger now. So now we're going to get down to the reason. We'll take a couple of questions in a moment, but we're going to get down to the reason we're here today. Actually, this was set up a long time ago. It's the Trump Kennedy Center. Over the past year, we've made incredible strides to restore the true purpose and prestige of this revered institution. Together, we're going to ensure it remains the finest performing arts facility of its kind anywhere in the world. And I don't know that it ever will reach that stage, but it will over a period of time. We're rebuilding it. It's in very, very bad condition. It's been it's been somewhat of a disaster, to be honest with you. It's been let go to hell. That's what they've done. They did a poor job. They spent money in the wrong places.
They
built some theaters underneath that nobody uses.
You know who they
tiny
is?
Theaters that cost like $300 million.
The Democrats.
And the money was spent incorrectly, wrong. We're dealing with some networks.
I bet he brings up Kamala Harris.
Nobody's going to use them. They want the big halls.
He'll bring it up.
The halls are going to be.
Why even mention her name? Ugh,
but when they're completed, the bones are potentially.
You're going to summon her.
Something that could be unbelievable. So I want to.
Are the bones good? The bones are good?
He's been a friend of mine for a long time.
The bones are good.
He went to he was the ambassador, as you know, to Germany. There was no happier woman in the world than Angela Merkel. Angela. She called me, thank you, sir, thank you. Although she liked Rick a lot, there was nobody happier that he was no longer going to be the ambassador to Germany.
Wow.
He was difficult for them. He was not your typical ambassador. He was the opposite. He would do what was best for the United States, not for Germany. And I want to tell you, he did a great job. So good that I put him in charge of a thing called intelligence. And something he didn't really want to do, but he did it, and he did it incredibly well. There were a lot of leakers. He found out the leakers. Ooh. And when he didn't find out who the leaker was in a certain area, he fired everybody. And went into one room where there was leaks.
You guys might be leaking. You're all fired. Get out.
These various places have had. And he said, who's the one that leaked this? And they wouldn't admit it, so he fired the whole room. And he did a good job. I'll tell you, he was very good. And during this transition period, I asked Ricky if he would run it, because we wanted to see. And if you remember when we first took it over, I didn't do it with enthusiasm.
Is that him? Is that Rick? There he is, dude. You know, he looks like Terminator 2, the cop.
And physically, it would have almost fallen down. It was in very bad shape. The steel columns outside, as an example, were meant to be covered. You know, exposed steel is unusual to have in building. What I do best in life is build. I build buildings really well and under budget and ahead of schedule.
Does he?
That's what I do. Unlike the Fed building, which is going to cost billions of dollars. It may never open. I mean, right now, we have a wonderful Kevin, a wonderful new head of the Fed coming in. I don't know if he'll ever be able to occupy this complex that was destroyed by Jerome Too Late Powell. I call him too late because he's always too late with interest. Should cut interest rates. He should cut them right now. They should have a special meeting. What's a better time to cut interest rates than now? A third-grade student would know that. But
really,
that's a terrible thing. But what I do is build. I build great stuff. And what we're going to do is
he's a builder.
Right outside. Guys. In fact,
he's a builder. Me, 33.
See the nice gold curtains?
See the nice gold curtain?
Do a nice foundation, and you want to see a lot of work, very deep, very, very deep for specific reasons. We have a magnificent ballroom being built, because this is the biggest room, and it holds like 98 people for dinner. But behind me, you're going to have a ballroom that this building and the people occupying it, in particular, every president for 150 years has clamored for a ballroom, a large, beautiful room. This is a cocktail room, and this will actually be, this whole floor will end up being a cocktail room for the cocktail area, or pre-area for the ball.
Isn't this unreal? Imagine you're homeless. Imagine you have to live in some shitbox hotel, and this room where the ceiling is 800. Like, look at this room. You're telling me, this is an out of touch moment. This is a cocktail room. Shut up, dude.
Ballroom before dinners, so we'll have heads of state. We can't even do a heads of state dinner.
Oh.
Usually, what they do is they would do them on the lawn with a tent. But when it rains, the lawn is very low, and you know the land in Washington. It was built on swampy, wet land. And when it rains, and you have...
I never would have built here.
The King of Saudi Arabia, we have as an example, the King of the UK, I would say King of England. It was a great guy.
We must keep the Saudi king entertained in a lavish environment, or he might get upset.
Coming in very soon. And when it rains, you know what happened? The rain
Why would we entertain the English king?
would go over their feet. It would be about 4 or 5 inches over their shoes. This was not good. So, and it rained a lot. So we're building finally, because I do that. And by the way, no taxpayer money.
He's a builder, guys. Have you heard that?
It's going to be, it's on time, on budget. It'll be under budget. Literally, we're having it under budget, other than we've upgraded it in terms of the marbles we're using. We're using onyx and stones that are incredible.
Nice.
But, it'll be something really spectacular. I'm looking at Mr. Steve Wynn, who's over there. He built a spectacular building, and he knows Trump builds a spectacular building. I build better buildings than him. I don't care what he said. But Steve is over here, and he really, with his incredible wife.
Ew!
And
are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, dude? This is becoming a joke real fast. This is a they live politician.
thank you both for being here.
Obey,
on the board.
consume,
Steve is so in love
etc.
with his wife, he asked whether or not he could come. And I can say the same thing for the great Bob Kraft.
His 30-year-old, like, dude, are you kidding me, bro? Are you kidding me with this? I can't even. There's no commentary to make because it speaks for itself, dude. Are you kidding me with this?
He's got a wife that...
Imagine you live on the streets and you're not addicted to drugs, and you see this guy roll by in his limousine. I guarantee their poodles live better than 90% of the country.
That's so wonderful. He said, do you think I could come? She didn't have to accept that, you know. She could have said no. But Bob said, I would like to come. So, Bob, we will not let you vote. Although his vote would be a good vote. He will vote for the proper thing. But it's good to have you both.
Dude, we need to get these ancient people out of here. Like, this guy has senile, like, come on, dude. And they got these wives. They must make them in a cloning vat or something for them. Can we get the old, this has been my policy for some time, I think. When you hit 65, you're out. No president, no congressman, no, okay. Even Supreme Court, is difficult because if the working man is required to retire at age 65, why do government workers get to be look at Biden. Dude's like 900 years old, the president. And we all see how that went. You don't let a senile old man drive a car because he could kill somebody, but we let him run the country? I mean, hell, even Trump's like 80-something. Shit's ridiculous. Like, get these old people out. Like, 3 generations of human being. And the problem is, as soon as he's out, his 50-year-old son will be in charge. And then his son, and then his son, and then his son. This nepotism. Isn't that what we were trying to stop by, entertaining the English king?
Both here. These are two great couples that know a lot about the things I'm talking about, like fixing, whether it's building a...
They met their wives at the gym while they were running one day. Shut up, dude. This is actually his physical therapist.
Stadium or building a building. They know how to do it. So
that's his nurse. She changes his colostomy bag, dude. Come on.
well, thank you, Steve, very much.
Yeah,
but
thanks.
We made incredible strides over the...
He's the type of guy, sees a homeless person on the side of the road, takes a balloon full of champagne, throws it at him from his limousine, and says, "How you like the taste of the good life, you piece of shit?" And then he drives off, and they laugh and have sex on a pile of money.
The past
allegedly.
Year, if you remember, I said I want to run it for a year just to see, because the place is falling down. It's horrible. Air conditioning, heaters.
London Bridge
is going to be ripped out.
Is falling down.
And, needs new. It's old. It's how many years is it, Rick? What's the total? 50, almost, over 50. And we have 50-year-old air conditioning, more than that actually, and it's in bad shape. Everything.
So we're saying 50 years is old. Well, these men outpaced that by 40 years, so the air conditioner's not allowed to work past 50, but humans are. That's what you got here, a bunch of dirty old air conditioners spewing out 50 years of mold.
Everything's in bad shape. It's got to be redone. So I said, let's run it for a year just to see how it works. It's better than you can't just go into something and try and figure it out. And we figured it out over the year. And you have to close.
Trump's really good at HVAC too, so don't forget that.
Putting new marbles in, beautiful, beautiful marbles. When you do marbles, you can't have
certified HVAC technician, Chicken Trump,
and going to a play. So we thought the best way, I mean, what I know best in the world is construction. The best way to do it
He's
is close it,
again,
do it
he's a
properly,
builder.
and
Again.
reopen it, have a grand reopen.
Again.
And when it's finished, it's going to...
See, that tells you a lot. One of the richest people on earth is a landlord. What does he do? Build properties and exploit the basic need for human shelter. There you go.
to be far better than it was.
And that's regardless of politics. Both sides do that. Every rich person does that. They exploit our need. If a human's not in shelter, they die. So let's capitalize on that.
When it was originally built. When it was originally built, it was good. It has one thing that's very good. It has great sound. I think there's a lot of luck in sound. You have some of the big opera houses. I don't want to get involved with saying which one, but in New York, as an example, where the acoustics were never good. And they've ripped it apart 4 times and rebuilt it, and it was never good. The good thing about the Kennedy Center, the acoustics are good. And they'll only be enhanced based on what we're doing. A lot of it has to do with the stones and the stones you use, the marbles you use. Over the past year, we've made incredible strides to restore.
See, do you think these people have to stay at some shitbox hotel where they can hear people thumping around you know? That's my fault, though. That's my fault. Get your money up. Can't blame nobody but yourself. Get your money up. I know. It's all my fault. Tell me how it's all my fault that I'm not good at earning money.
Or the true purpose and prestige that this building will soon gain. I think it will become and cover.
I'm getting bored.
And we took the columns and we painted them. We built
Talking about the steel columns,
he was here for a short period of time, for a year, figuring it out with Matt. Think we'll do a good job. I'll say, Matt, you're fired. I'm getting somebody else. So you're under no pressure, Matt, okay? It's like Bob Kraft. If a football player doesn't perform well, typically you will fire him immediately, Bob. Do you ever let them stay around for 4 or 5 years if they're bad? Not too many times, right? So, anyway, I learned from him.
Yeah, he didn't understand a word you said because he's a senile, 900-year-old man. Perhaps his 30-year-old wife could translate. Like, you think, what, these women aren't out for an inheritance? Shut the front door, dude.
So I want to thank also
Disgusting.
Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's been fantastic. I don't know, is Pam here someplace? Oh, hello, Pam. It's got him in.
Oh, there she is.
But we had a death, and then we had another death, and we had some things, and it's. But we're looking very strong. We had one man who was very ill. It looked like he wasn't going to make it. I don't know. I won't mention his name. Should I? Do other people know his name? Do you want to mention it? He'll be proud. Go ahead. Tell him the story.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. President. Congressman Neil Dunn of Florida had some real health challenges, and it was very serious, and had a pretty grim diagnosis. And I mentioned it to the president, and I said, Congressman Dunn is a real champion and a patriot because he's still coming to work. And if others got this diagnosis, they would be apt to go home and retire. And
what was the diagnosis?
It was, I think it was a terminal diagnosis.
He would be dead by June.
Okay, that wasn't public, but yeah, okay. That's.
HIPAA violation. Let's go.
This was a heart problem.
Oh,
short,
doxed. HIPAA docs.
And the president mentioned in the first conversation, get my doctors involved. And they did, and within a number of hours, they took him to
They're laughing because he doesn't have a heart. You know, that's the joke.
Walter Reed, emergency surgery. The man has a new lease on life. He acts like he's 30 years younger, and he walked into the conference meeting, and we thought we'd seen a ghost.
He's got a 30-year-old
wife.
wife.
Over the weekend, and he's encouraged and thankful, and he thanks the president for his leadership.
I'm going to 1-5, guys. I'm going to 1-5.
Mike called me
Warp speed, warp speed.
We're up by 3, but we're going to lose 1 by June. I said, who? Neil Dunn. He's a great congressman. Incredible. He called to say that he was terminal. Really bad.
I'm terminal.
There's nothing they can do. I said, that's bad. Number 1, it was bad because I liked him. Number 2, it was bad because I needed his vote. But he really said, Mike, I'm going to last this out for the president and you, and however long.
She giggled. He stopped her. Did you see that? That was intense. Hold on. Let's go back. Watch as he makes the joke about I need his vote. Watch him react to her giggling.
I said, that's bad. Number 1, it was bad because I liked him. Number 2,
all right, sorry about that brief interruption. You know, here at the Ghetto Arms Hotel, there is many interruptions. So let's continue.
Doctors in the White House doctors are incredible, and they've helped me with other people. They're helping me with people right now. People that are very sick are like miracle workers. And I said I have to call them, and I called the 2 doctors. They're both great, and they immediately went over to see the congressman. And he was on the operating table like 2 hours later.
Yeah.
Oh, my
It was
God.
a long operation. They gave.
All right, so let's rub it in our face. Special privilege.
Because I don't want to have a terrible story about this. I did it for him first and for the vote second. Introduce Susie Wiles, but I did it for the vote second. First and for the vote second. But it was a close second, actually. But I did it for the vote second. All right? I want to also introduce Susie Wiles, who's fantastic. She's our chief of staff. And she's an amazing person, an amazing fighter, and she announced a minor difficulty, which will be in good shape. Good shape for her. He'll be around for a long time. She had a diagnosis. You probably saw it, and she's going to take care of it immediately, as opposed to waiting. She said, "Let's do it now." I said, "Do it immediately," because with that particular ailment, the faster the better. That's the only thing I know about it. The faster the better. She's going to do it immediately. So she just started actually, and she's going to be in great shape. The wonderful place was literally on the verge of collapse, both from a financial standpoint, maybe more from a financial standpoint, but also from a physical standpoint. Necessary maintenance has been ignored. The programming was very woke and out of touch with reality. And we had an orchestra that lost like $18 million a year, and they subsidized it every year. So what kind of an orchestra loses 18? And I'm being nice when I say 18, it was much more. And I started looking at the programming. They had tremendous union difficulties, like 19 different unions, and driving everybody crazy.
19, yeah.
And I think the unions are going to be great. I've always gotten along with unions. As you know, I got great union support. But we had 19
we do
unions.
live
Every
in
time somebody
Soviet
wanted to put on a
Union,
play, they had to deal
so
with 19 different groups
makes
of people.
sense, right?
And they say it was like Broadway, but worse. And you don't get worse than Broadway when it comes to the unions. I've watched that for many years. The programming was terrible. And they had a budget deficit of about $26 million minimum. Owed a lot of money. We're out borrowing money, which is a lot of people don't understand. So under the leadership of this exceptionally talented and rich board, it's a very rich board. Not everybody, but most of you are loaded. Ike Perlmutter's got so much money. Look at Ike Perlmutter. He ended up being the largest owner of Disney. Started with, was it $100 or less? It was a little less, Ike, right? He didn't speak English, and he became the largest owner of Disney, right? But then they went woke and he...
Disgusting. Look at these monsters. Ugh. The collective wealth of our humanity, our children's future sitting in the hands of these monsters here. Look at these creatures.
He sold the stock. He didn't like Mickey
The Church of the Money God.
Mouse being woke, right, Ike? But he's one of the most brilliant business people. Thank you, Ike. It's great. And Lori, thank you very much for being here. So I think it's Lori that's on the board, though, right, Lori? What's with these husbands? All the husbands are traveling. I think it's the White House. I got all the husbands with the wives. That's never happened. Boy, oh boy, what great relationships. My wife is going to have to speak to me. This is pretty good. The biggest guys in the country travel with their wives to come to a meeting. But it has something to do with the White House, right, Ike? Right? You don't want to see me. You want to see the White House because it's a special building. But thank you. And congratulations on an amazing career. Most people don't know Ike Perlmutter. Isidore Perlmutter. And started with nothing and built a vast fortune just by deal after deal. Did you ever have a bad deal, Ike? Which was that? Don't tell. See how honest he is? Most people would say no. He says one, and it couldn't have been very bad. Great to have you. So under the leadership of this board, which is, as you see, incredible, we're achieving a very dramatic and quick turnaround. We got rid of all of the DEI. Some of the news media loves DEI, but we got rid of it. Maybe you're right. Brought back patriotic and family-friendly programming, and last year we raised over $130 million.
Patriotic programming?
Going. Otherwise, it would have been closed. The building, let's call it the Kennedy Center from that time, was losing so much money it could not have stayed alive if we didn't come in as a group of people and a lot of wealthy people that made a lot of contributions.
Do you hear that?
So with the Trump Kennedy Center honors,
do you think Perlmutter ever dealt with that?
Which was double what they had ever done before, $23 million. There's still much to do. The previous management left us a facility in very bad condition. Abysmal is the word, and everything from busting pipes and leaks to serious electrical and structural problems. And some of it we fixed, but most of it we're saving for during the construction period because we'll do a much better job of it that way. Major renovations are required to keep the facility functional, and that'll start right after July 4th. We're going to have a little bit of a celebration, not a big deal, but a little bit of a
it's got to have a party.
On July 4th, we'll have a little party.
Absolutely.
And then after that, we close and we start construction. We're fully financed. As I announced in February, after a one-year review based on input from highly respected experts and subject to board approval today, we determined
Avalanche
a little late
going.
for the board because we've already announced it, but these are minor details, but I think everybody agrees. But subject to board approval, we determined that the fastest way to bring the Trump Kennedy Center to the highest level of success, beauty, and grandeur is to cease the entertainment operations for a 2-year period of time as we complete high-quality, really high-quality construction. And we've already purchased seating, as an example. We've already purchased a lot of the marbles and some of the things that are hard to get. Getting quality marble is very hard. It takes a long time. It comes from areas where it takes a long time to mine.
The Middle East, by the way.
And we're getting some of the best things you can. The marble is going to be incredible. The seats that we have.
That's it. I figured it out, guys. Trump's taking Iran to get the marble. He wants that marble supply. Absolutely. The Grand Ballroom marble. That's what it's all about.
The seating is the highest level. Everything is the highest level. So this temporary closure will enable us to complete the work much faster and much higher quality. As an example, it's hard to show Shakespeare when you don't have any seats. As the seats are being changed, it's not exactly a great experience for people. So
So, English peasant Shakespeare, what has he done for America lately?
Way to do it is just close it and fix it and open
Shakespeare.
it.
Enough with this Shakespeare trash. Like, can we get over this? So, Romeo and Juliet, a story about two children. I can't even get into it. Think about the ending of Romeo and Juliet. Is that really the message we want to enforce to our young people? If you can't be together, drink the poison and then kiss each other and die together? Is that really the moral of the story?
We'll begin right after, as I said, July 4th celebration. And thanks to the great, big, beautiful bill, we are fully funded, ready to go. And we have tremendous amounts of money coming in from some people around the table, but also from people that are not here, but that have made very generous contributions toward the Trump Kennedy Center. People that have never given to it before and would never have given it except I asked them to give. So, Rick, I thank you very much for the job that you've done, and I'm delighted that you really are. You did a great job. It was a little rough with a couple of the people, but that's okay. They've survived. Some of the artists, they took a pounding from Rick. It's almost like this guy right over here, Anthony. You know, he knows what it is to pound people, right, Ike?
What are we saying? What are we saying?
Anthony, you're here with your wife?
What are we
going
saying?
On? The most successful
What's
people
going
in the world
on?
with their wives. I'm looking around. Wow, that's impressive.
Why is that a big deal for him? I don't understand that. Well, what, you brought your wife? What the hell? She's 30. You're 80. What are you doing? I mean, that's the real. That's my observation. It's like, you know.
There's another one. He started off with one truck. He had one truck 45 years ago. He ended up with 4,000 trucks.
Do you know how easy it was to start a business 45 years ago? Stop.
And he sold his company for billions of dollars. And you're here, Anthony? He's a member of one of my clubs, and all he has is cash. He said, I have a big problem, sir. What? I don't know how to invest my cash. Most people don't have any cash, right? Anyway, you're the greatest. So
this is
disgusting. All of these people have done so much, and they've done so much to help. And Matt, I just really...
The way people talk about money is disgusting.
I'm here to a certain extent to wish you good luck with everything and to introduce you to the board. Many of the board know because Matt's been running a lot of the initial construction and planning and going to be assuming the role of chief operating officer and executive director, where he'll lead a construction crew for the next, a big crew, by the way, because it needs a lot of work, for the next 2 years in preparation for the grand reopening. And I think it's going to be something that's going to be very...
And that means jobs for Americans.
Very special. We're doing a lot of special things. We have a lot of things happening. We have at the front of the White House on June 14th, you probably read, UFC is going to be here. Dana White, the great Dana White, he's building literally a stadium, a 5,000-seat arena right outside the front door of the White House. And they're going to have about 100,000 people in the park right across the street, where he's building, I believe, 8 massive screens for people to watch, all free, for people to watch. It's June 14th, happens to be my birthday, and that was only by happenstance. It was not planned that way, but it's a Sunday night, which they never did. Sunday night's super prime time. It's going to be broadcast on CBS, which is the Ellison family, 2 great people. Great people. It's a great family.
Jeez.
And it's going to be
listen to this
event.
nepotism,
and we have Roger Penske's going to have IndyCar here. We're going to have a race around the Capitol. That's going to be in August. So we have that. And we have a tremendous number of things. We have the Olympics, we have the World Cup, and we have the 250. And as you know, I was responsible for getting the Olympics. Actually, Bob Kraft helped me. And he helped me with the World Cup, too. You were very good. Who could be better, right? But he helped with the Olympics and the World Cup. But we have the Olympics coming. I was responsible for that, right, Bob? We have the World Cup coming right now, and I was responsible for that. Then we had a rigged election, and because of that, I was always very upset when I got
Nobody
the
in
Olympics.
this country gives a damn about football.
If I went by the normal progression. And then I said, well, let's see what happens.
He's bringing up the rigged election, guys. Here we go.
And then they rigged the election, and I said, let's do it again, and we won in a landslide. And I came back and I ended up with the Olympics and the World Cup. Somebody said, did you do that on purpose? So I claimed the Olympics and I claimed the World Cup because I did get both. And then I tried to claim 250-year celebration. I said, I got that. They said, no, you didn't. That one you didn't get. They're giving me no credit for that one, Mr. Speaker. So I gave up on that one quickly. That wasn't working. It wasn't working.
This just saying Trump did not found the country of the United States. Now that that's clear, we can move on.
But I just want to thank everybody. This board has been incredible, and it's really nice. What we're going to do is we could take a few questions from the press, and then after that we'll have our meeting, and we have a little lunch for the board. So we'll have a little bit of a lunch, and it's an honor to have you all here. It's so many of you, Jimmy, so many of you are friends. It's a great honor to have you here, and we're going to do a great job with the Trump Kennedy Center. Okay, yes, please, CNN. Dude.
Daily Wire, but thank you for the question.
Ooh, Daily Wire, slam.
Can you give us a hint what they are, what that entails, how soon they might be there?
You mean who are the countries?
Yes, sir.
I'd rather not say yet, but we'll be announcing. Marco Rubio and the various people that are doing that will be announcing. And I have to tell you, we have some that are really enthusiastic. They're coming already. They've already started.
They're so excited.
It takes a little while to get there. It's like, in some cases, you have to travel an ocean. So Doesn't go that fast, but it'll go fast. And we have some that are fairly
The
local that
marble.
are doing it. But we'll give you a list. Some are very enthusiastic, and some are less than enthusiastic. And I assume some will not do it. I think we have one or two that will not do it that we've been protecting for about 40 years at tens of billions of dollars, Mr. Speaker. So I'll be reporting that to you in the House and the Senate. And I'll say, why are we protecting countries that don't protect us? And I've always felt that was a weakness of NATO. We were going to protect them. But I always said, when in need, they won't protect us. Now, this isn't need. Need would be one of the big boys. But I will say that we built the greatest military in the world, and we protect people. And if we need their mine boats, or if we need anything, any piece of apparatus that they may have because of a situation that they have, they should be jumping to help us, because we've helped them for years stay out of wars. Yeah, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Can you tell us if you have spoken with French President Macron about the coalition to reopen the Strait of Hormuz? Have you been speaking with the French President?
Yeah, he said no.
Have you been speaking with the French President Macron about the coalition to reopen the Strait of Hormuz?
Yeah, I have.
Coalition.
He
said no. Yeah,
on
he's
scale
like, I'm not
of 0
helping.
to 10, I'd say he's been an 8.
Oh,
Not perfect, but it's France.
close.
Are you confident that France will help with the reopening of Strait of Hormuz?
Yeah,
No.
I mean, sure. He's going to.
They already said they
I'll
won't.
let you know. I spoke to him yesterday. I don't do a hard sell on them because my attitude is we don't need anybody. We're the strongest nation in the world. We have the strongest military by far in the world. We don't need
That'll
them.
go over
But
well in the press.
it's interesting. I'm almost doing it in some cases, not because we need them, but because I want to find out how they react. Because I've been saying for years that if we ever did need them, they won't be there. Not all of them, but they won't be there. I was very surprised with the United Kingdom. Because the United Kingdom, 2 weeks ago, I said, why don't you send some ships over? And he really didn't want to do it.
Nah.
I said, you don't want to do it. We've been with you. You're our oldest ally. And we spend a lot of money on, NATO and
Don't forget that this country was founded and then went to war with them. So there's also that. I find this whole America-English collusion thing is interesting because it's like everyone's just sort of forgotten the Revolutionary War or something. Like landlord. We have lords in this country. I thought that's what we were escaping, our ancestors. The persecution of lords in England. But, I'm stupid. I know.
I mean, we're protecting them.
Remind me how
We're protecting them
stupid I am in the
thousands of miles
comments,
away,
please.
Separated by a vast ocean. We don't have to do that, but we did it. Well, Biden did it. I mean, I have to be honest with you. Biden got taken to the cleaners. But
Sweet Biden.
we worked with them in Ukraine. We don't need to work with them in Ukraine. And then they tell us that we have a mine ship around, and they don't want to do it. I think it's terrible. No, I was very surprised. I told him, we requested 2 aircraft carriers, which they had, and he didn't really want to do it. And then right after the war essentially ended, meaning they were obliterated, he said, I would like to send the aircraft carriers. I said, I don't need them after the war has ended and won. I need it before. Be involved enthusiastically. We've been protecting these countries for years with NATO because NATO is us. You can ask Putin. Putin fears us. He doesn't fear. He has no fear of Europe whatsoever. He fears the United States of America and the military that was built by me in the first term. Yeah.
You mentioned the significant amount of oil that China derives from the Middle East. What is
Whoa,
the status
easy,
of your
bud.
conversation with
This
President Xi
guy
in terms of
right
getting
here.
China to cooperate in terms of making the Strait of Hormuz safe for those
Look
oil
at him.
tankers?
Yeah, so
Lean
China's
back.
a great example. They get 91% of their oil from the Hormuz Straits. which we protected for years.
90%?
And it
That's
always bothered
wild.
me that we have these countries. Japan gets 95% of it from the Straits, the Hormuz Straits. And it always bothered me that we're protecting
That's
and we don't
kinda
need them.
stupid.
We didn't need them before we
95%.
started Dig We Must. Dig Me Must, that's the Trump policy of
Gotta
lots of oil.
diversify.
And we didn't use them very much. It used to be at 10%. Now it's at almost 0. We don't need oil. We have all the oil we need for ourselves. It's one of the great
Then
assets
why
we
is the
have.
gas
We have
price up,
double,
dude?
more than double what anybody else in terms of oil production. We're at more than double any other country. So we don't need it, but we did it. It's almost, you could say we did it out of habit, which is not a good thing to do. But we did it because we have some good allies there. We have some great Middle Eastern countries there, Israel there. So we did it for a lot of reasons. But it always amazed me that we did it. We never asked for reimbursement. And it was really there to serve other countries, not us. And by the way, we have the Sugar King. The same story. Look at that. Alfie von Hool. Alfie, thank you both very much. That's Pepe here. Pepe. Hi, Pepe. How are you? How are you? Is Alfie in the backstage?
No.
Is he sitting back there waiting for you? No?
No.
You doing all right?
Doing okay. Thank you, Mr.
Pepe is a great friend of all of ours, I think, in the
What
room.
the
Tremendous. And
hell
we
is
appreciate
this?
you being here. Great
Oh
to have
my
you.
God.
Thank you,
Mr. President. Honored.
That's great. Both of you, thank you very much. So,
Hey, aren't you gonna make a joke about how he brought his wife?
go ahead, please.
Mr. President, you've said that Iran does want to make a deal. Now, into the 3rd week of this bombing campaign, what would that deal look like? What are the asks that you're making of the
They want to
government
make a
of Iran?
deal. They're talking to our people. I don't know if they say that to you. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Don't forget, they are a country that for years, I didn't know this until recently, they're a country based on disinformation. And now they're using disinformation plus AI. And that's a terrible situation. That's a terrible situation. They showed all sorts of things happening in the last 2 weeks that never happened. Between their kamikaze boats that don't exist, between blowing up the aircraft carrier, one of the great ships in the world, the Abraham Lincoln, on fire. They showed it on fire. I called the
Put your
general,
hand
said,
down. He's speaking.
General, what's with
Look
the
at this
Abraham Lincoln?
guy.
Looks like it's burning down. No,
So
it's not burning down.
awkward.
Not a bullet was ever fired at it, sir. They
Look
know
at how
better.
awkward.
They said, this is my first glimpse of AI and what they've done with it. They showed buildings in Tel Aviv burning to the ground, high-rises burning. They showed buildings in Qatar. They showed buildings in Saudi Arabia burning, and they weren't burning. They weren't hit. It was all AI-based. Terrible. It's terrible. And that's their only, I think that's the only thing they do well. They're negotiating, and we always talk. You know, somebody said, well, would you talk? Why would you even talk to them? I talk to everybody because sometimes good things come out of it. But
Never talked to me.
I don't know if they're ready yet.
I wasn't notified. I wasn't asked.
I don't know if they're ready yet. And we don't even know their leaders. Look, all of their leaders are dead, as far as we know.
All my friends are
They're all
dead.
We don't know who we're dealing with. We knocked out the first group. Then the second group met, 88 met to pick the leader because the first group was all dead. And the second group got knocked out. They're all dead. Then the third group met. I would think they're a little nervous about meeting. I don't know if they're nervous. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're crazy. If they're not nervous, then they're crazy. But we met with the next group. But we don't know who their leader is. We have people wanting to negotiate. We have no idea who they are. Yeah, please, Peter.
Thanks, President Trump. What are your advisors telling you about the Ayatollah's son, the new supreme leader? What are they telling
Well,
you
it's
about
not only them, it's you people. I mean, a lot of people are saying that he's badly disfigured. They're saying that he lost his leg, one leg, and he's been hurt very badly. Other people are saying he's dead. Nobody's saying he's 100% healthy. And he hasn't spoken because the Ayatollah would sit and he'd spew hate from a form of a throne. Not as nice as a throne. I like the English throne much better. But it was a fancy chair. But he'd spew hate from his chair. But you'd see him a lot, right? This one, we haven't seen at all. So that could be for a lot of different reasons. We don't know, Peter, if he's dead or not.
Now that you've announced,
I will say this, nobody's seen him, which is unusual.
something else. Now that you've announced that the U.S. has destroyed all of Iran's mine-laying ships, why can't the U.S. just immediately reopen the Strait of Hormuz?
Well, we could, but it takes
Great
two to tango.
question.
We have to get people to take their $1 billion ship and drive it up. If when Pepe has his big sugar ships coming around, and
Pepe.
they cost $1 billion, and we say, I think it's okay now, Pepe, take your ship, drive it through the Strait of Hormuz. He may say, let me wait a little while, because it takes ship owners, and these ships are very expensive. They could cost up to $2 billion, so they don't want to take a chance that, gee, I think you'll be okay. They got to know it. So they don't have to set. We don't know if they even set any mines, but the thought that they may have is enough to keep people from saying we don't need it. Now we are pounding that area, that coast, as you know, left side. We're pounding it, like really pounding it hard.
Left side.
And
Blue flag on the left side. That's the
again,
Crip side.
they may have no mindset. We hit every one of their mine droppers. They call it the mine layers, right? The ships. They're pretty sophisticated ships. Every one of them is gone, but it only takes one. So it's a little unfair. You win a war, but they have no right to be doing what they're doing. But we're hitting them very hard, and today is a big day.
This guy wants to ask a question so bad.
Has very
Look
much
at
to
him
do with
go.
the Strait, and I think we'll get it going very soon. In addition, we do have other nations coming in. You need people to watch and people to see. We have other nations coming in. Yes, please.
If the United States is working
There he
to
got
secure
it.
the Strait of Hormuz for the benefit of other countries like China, and our allies aren't yet stepping up to your standard, is the United States getting back to being the world's policeman?
Look,
Uh-oh.
the United States.
He
should
was
not be
desperate to ask
very
that
much
one.
involved. They can on a certain basis. They've been doing it for a long time. But I've always said, if you look back years ago, I said, why aren't we being reimbursed? These are the richest countries in the world. Why aren't we being reimbursed for maintaining the Hormuz Strait? And why aren't we being reimbursed for that? I've said that for years. You can go back. They reported on it yesterday. I've been saying a lot of things about the Straits. Number one, I said it's the one advantage they have, but that's a suicidal advantage because they kill themselves more than they kill the rest of the world. And there are things you can do with time. There are other things you can do. But I think we're going to have the situation straightened out pretty quickly, and I think we're going to have some good help, and I think we're going to be disappointed in some nations too. And I'll let you know who those nations are.
One of your advisors, David Sachs, said the other week that the U.S. should, quote, declare victory and get out of the Iran war. He also warned that if the conflict escalates, Israel may contemplate the use of a nuclear weapon. Has he shared that assessment with you?
Yeah.
Israel wouldn't do that.
Who
Israel
needs
would
to
never
be
even do
nuked
that.
in this?
Yeah, there's a theory. You pounded them to hell, and you can just leave now, and it'll take 10 years for them to build back not nearly what they have right now. And I guess that's another theory. But we want to have it ended so that another president doesn't have. Look, for 47 years, no president was willing to do what I'm doing, and they should have done it a long time ago. It would have been a lot easier. There's no president that wanted to do
This
it.
little
and yet
guy
every
with his
president
kid,
knew.
like,
I've spoken
what
to a
the
certain
hell?
president, who I like, actually.
Very
A
bad
past president, former
posture.
president. He said, I wish I did it. I wish I did. But they didn't do it.
We heard
I'm
this
doing it.
yesterday.
I can't tell you that. I
It's
don't want to embarrass him.
Obama.
It would be very
We
bad
all
for his
know.
career.
We
even though
all
he's got
know
no
it's
career.
Obama.
Go ahead, please.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, sir. Mr. President, you mentioned that you're not entirely sure who you're dealing with, who the leadership is in Iran. Do you see a viable opposition movement still in that country following all of the protests that we had seen before the airstrikes and kind of an opposition movement that could become a viable leader in Iran?
Well, the biggest problem, and we have brave people in this room, but the biggest problem that I see is that, they put out a warning, and we have a warning, we get everything they get. And it said any protester that goes onto the street will be immediately shot and killed. This is a little tougher than the American way. This is not quite as tough as nobody can believe it. So I can't imagine. They don't have guns, and the other ones have guns, highly sophisticated machine guns and AK-47s.
Yeah,
and
welcome
other
to
kinds of guns.
America.
And
What
they
do you
did that with the
mean?
women. So the women had 250,000, even 500 people protesting a year ago, and they shot women right through the middle of the forehead with snipers, and they didn't have to do many. About 10 went down bleeding profusely, and 250 to 500,000 women went running in the other direction because they can be brave. but
500,000?
They're not stupid, and they have no gun, and you have snipers in buildings specifically for this reason. So a woman goes down falling, bleeding from the head, and it doesn't take long for that to spread. And when that spreads, that crowd dispenses. And nobody else has been able to do that to the extent that these people are violent. They killed a minimum 2 weeks ago, 32,000 people. So, and they put out actually a notice 2 days ago. If you protest, you will be shot and killed. So, I don't know. I would say Mike Johnson's the only person I know who has the courage to go out in that kind of an atmosphere. I don't think so. Yeah.
Have your advisors told you anything in terms of how long we can expect gas prices as high as they are right
I
now?
don't need advisors to tell me that. I know what it is. The Prime Minister of UK, United Kingdom, yesterday told me I'm meeting with my team to make a determination. I said, you don't need to meet it with a team. You're the Prime Minister. You can make your own. Why do you have to meet with your team to find out whether or not you're going to send some minesweepers to us or to send some boats? I said, you don't have to meet with your team. It's the same thing here. I can tell you that when this is over, oil prices are going to go down very, very rapidly. So is inflation, so is everything else. But frankly, much more important than short-term, even long-term oil prices, you can't let the most violent, vicious country in the last 50 years have a nuclear weapon. Because the Middle East will be gone, Israel will go back, and the Qatar, and the other one, they fought back. They could have yielded. But think of it, if we weren't around, they had tremendous power. They had thousands of missiles, most of which we've terminated. They had thousands of drones. They were making drones and missiles they might have, and what Israel did too. Yeah, please.
Israel is expected to expand its ground offensive in southern Lebanon to go after Hezbollah. Have you discussed that with Israeli leaders?
Yeah.
And does the United States support a potential Israeli invasion of Lebanon?
Yeah, no, I did, and I know Hezbollah is a problem. It's been a problem for a long time, not just now, and it's a certain area because I was with the other night a person whose parents live in Lebanon. This is a very substantial person, wealthy person, whose parents live in Lebanon. I said, really? How do you live in Lebanon? Your parents are living? Oh yeah, they live there, and over the years they've gotten used to the fact that it's being bombed. But they explained to me that it's really a different section of Lebanon. It's a section where Hezbollah is. And they get used to it, I guess. I don't know. I mean, people live in Ukraine. You would think they wouldn't live in Ukraine, but they live in Ukraine. I don't know that I'd do that.
Well, not everyone can just up and move to another country.
Hezbollah's a big
White
problem,
people
and
live.
they're rapidly being eliminated. Thank you very much, everybody.
I
Appreciate
can't.
it. Prices are way down. We just had 4 states. It was just reported that 4 states had $1.99.
All right. Well, that's it. Summary. Rich people good. Iran bad.